Well, folks, I did realize recently that I actually have not done a video expressing which are my favorite movies of all time. My staff told me about this, and so now we must do precisely that. We're going to list my favorite movies of all time. This video is sponsored by our friends at ExpressVPN. All right, we're going to go down the list, and then I'm going to pick my 5 favorites, because it's a rather lengthy list. So I'm going to give you 9 to choose from, and then I'm going to tell you which 5 are my favorites. So we begin with The Lives of Others. The Lives of Others premiered in 2007, and it won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. William F. Buckley famously called this his favorite film. It is a terrific, terrific film. It is directed by Florian Henkel von Donnersmarck. The Lives of Others is set in East Berlin in 1984, and the basic concept of the movie is that a member of the East German Stasi is sent to monitor on behalf of a high-ranking communist official, an artist and his girlfriend. He wants to gin up charges against the artist, and he wants to make sure that the artist ends up basically being sent to jail, to a gulag or something else. And the entire story is about how this member of the East German Stasi ends up being converted into a belief in freedom by surveilling this couple. It's a terrific movie. The acting is excellent. The score is really, really good. Totally worth the watch. The Lives of Others. Next on my list, Amadeus. I love Amadeus. Amadeus is totally not historically accurate. It is also an amazing film.
Astounding. It was beyond belief.
This film was written by Peter Shaffer. It started off as a play and then was adapted into a film by Milos Forman, which is beautifully directed. F. Murray Abraham won Best Actor for this. Amadeus won Best Picture. The whole story is about the conflict between Mozart and Salieri. The movie itself is terrific. One of the best scenes is a scene in which Salieri writes a little march to welcome Mozart to court, and Mozart then proceeds to absolutely dunk on Salieri by innovating, almost jazz style, an entire piece around Salieri's very basic theme. Alrighty, next on my list, All the King's Men. So the original, not the crappy Sean Penn version, the one with Broderick Crawford, who won Best Actor for this film. This film also won Best Picture of 1950, and it's the best breakdown of how political operators actually work that's ever been filmed. It shows the movement of Willie Stark, who's basically based on Huey Long, the Louisiana tyrant/governor, how he moved from a fighter for the people to dictator of Louisiana and what that does to him as a person and all the people around him. Amazing film. All right, I'd be remiss if I didn't include The Godfather Part 1 in this list. Now, some people say Godfather Part 2. Godfather Part 2 is more fascinating on a human level. Godfather Part 1 is absolutely more watchable. The movie, of course, is based on the book of the same name by Mario Puzo, which is a terrific book, by the way. Totally worth the read. And of course, it won 3 Academy Awards, Best Picture, Best Actor for Marlon Brando, and Best Screenplay. The truth is, the best thing in Godfather Part 1 is Pacino. Pacino's performance in 1 and 2, if you combine those, best film performance maybe of all time. It's before Pacino sort of became a caricature of himself. My favorite scene in the film, which comes at the very end of the film, Michael has now taken over the family business from Sonny, who was murdered. And he recognizes that Carlo, his brother-in-law, was complicit in the murder of Sonny. And this scene is just fantastic. Next film, On the Waterfront. Terrific, amazing film. Some of the best performances ever put on screen. It stars Marlon Brando. It's an amazing film. It's become sort of historically condemned, and the reason for that is because of the bizarre revisionist story around McCarthyism, this idea that Hollywood was never honeycombed with communists. It was, in fact, honeycombed with communists. And Elia Kazan, who's the director, famously wrote On the Waterfront as a sort of response to the idea that you were supposed to stay silent on behalf of bad people. And so On the Waterfront is the story of a small-time boxer who ends up being complicit in a union that is rife with corruption and works with the mafia, and then he ends up turning on them and testifying before Congress about the mafia connections with the Waterfront Union. Terrific, amazing film. Most famous scene is the "I could have been a contender" speech that Marlon Brando makes to his brother, explaining that the mafia made him take a fall. The mob made him take a fall as a boxer when he actually should have been up for the heavyweight crown. Terrific film all the way through. We'll get to more on this in a moment. First, it's no secret the NSA is surveilling us. They buy your information from data brokers. They watch every move you make online. But what if I told you there's a way to actually stop those sorts of transactions? What if I told you there's a way to get your privacy and your freedom back? You could do it with a product called ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that sends 100% of your online activity through secure encrypted servers. That means data brokers can't see anything you do online. Their customers, government agencies, big tech companies can't access those logs either. I've been using ExpressVPN for years. Whenever I'm at a hotel hotel, whenever I'm at an airport, I have to use public Wi-Fi, and my data is my business and my business only. With ExpressVPN, none of your online activity is even logged. Just within the last 12 months, ExpressVPN received over 400,000 data requests from tech companies and government agencies. You know how many of their customers' information was shared? The answer is 0. ExpressVPN has a strict zero logs policy. ExpressVPN is easy to use. It takes one click. It works on all your devices, phones, tablets, smart TVs, desktops. You can have it on up to 8 devices at once, protecting your whole family. We were told this was a country where we're afforded privacy and freedom, but until you can actually protect your own privacy, you should protect yourself with ExpressVPN. Find out how you can get 4 months free by scanning the QR code on screen. Click that link in the description box below, or head on over to expressvpn.com/BenYT. A personal favorite of mine, very close to my heart, The Best Years of Our Lives. Truly an amazing film, directed by William Wyler, who I think is the best film director, just an amazing body of work. The cast is great. It's Myrna Loy and Frederick March and Dana Andrews and Harold Russell, who won an Oscar for this. The entire film is about the reintroduction of veterans from World War II into American society, how things changed in their absence. The best scene in the movie is this unbelievably moving scene in which Homer, he was supposed to marry the girl next door, and he basically has pushed her away since he got home because he doesn't want her to have to be married to somebody who's crippled. And he shows her what life is like without his hands at night after he takes off the hooks to go to bed.
I'll do that, Homer.
It's an amazing scene. The score to this movie is just tremendous. This is like one of the great all-time musical scores by Hugo Friedhofer. Just a tremendous movie. Okay, for fun, nothing beats Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, recommended by President Dwight D. Eisenhower when it first came out in 1954. It was directed by Stanley Donen, one of the great film musical directors. It stars Howard Keel as Adam Ponape. Jane Powell is his wife, and the whole movie is just about these frontiersmen who are trying to get married. It's based on the rape of the Sabine women, a section in Livy. And the basic idea here is that you have a bunch of frontiersmen, they fall in love with these girls, the girls are townies, and at a certain point in the film, they actually kidnap these girls and bring them back, and they have to learn how to become normal human men instead of being kind of brutes. Maybe the greatest musical film scene of all time is the famous barn raising scene. Has some amazing dance in it. Honestly, you can't watch this movie and not have a smile on your face. It's just not possible, unless you're a true scold. Okay, obviously Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm gonna count this as a trilogy because it truly is one giant movie. It's like a 9-hour movie, obviously. And it's amazing, beginning to end. Matt Walsh is just wrong on this. He's dead wrong.
Stupid fat hobbit.
If you want to see a fuller breakdown of Lord of the Rings, check out our Lord of the Rings review in which we just knocked Matt Walsh around for like 3 hours. Everything from the use of forced perspective in order to make Elijah Wood seem a lot smaller than Ian McKellen because Elijah Wood is a hobbit and Ian McKellen's a wizard, to the building of Gondor, which was what they call the bigature. It's unbelievable and amazing. It's Weta Workshop that did all that work. So in 2002, A Beautiful Mind beat Fellowship of the Ring. That's a joke. In 2003, Chicago beat Two Towers in 2003. Again, sick joke. Pathetic, sick joke. It should have won Best Picture all 3 years. Clearly, without a doubt, there are no close competitors. I remember sitting in the theater, and Frodo's about to throw the ring in, and when he turns around and he says that he's not gonna do it, the ring is his, I remember smiling in the theater because it's so true to the characters. Meaning that you think that for 3 movies you've been waiting to see Frodo throw the ring into the fiery chasm from whence it came, but it turns out that all 3 movies you've been waiting for the ring to seduce Frodo, because if Frodo just did it, it would be the most anticlimactic thing ever. But instead, he doesn't. And it's amazing. What a terrific film accomplishment. And finally, The Dark Knight. I was told I could not use the Dark Knight trilogy, which makes me sad because all 3 movies are fantastic. But of course, Dark Knight is a signal action film achievement. It's hard not to like Christopher Nolan. He just has massive vision, tremendous scale. The script is awesome. Heath Ledger's performance is amazing. The score is great. It's just every aspect of The Dark Knight is fantastic. It just moves. Of course, Heath Ledger won Best Supporting Actor for it. The Dark Knight did not win Best Picture that year. Here were your Best Picture nominees in 2009. Slumdog Millionaire, which won? The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Frost Nixon, Milk, and The Reader. No one has ever seen any of these movies since. Well, it was because of this that they actually expanded the field of Best Picture nominees. They decided they were going to increase it to somewhere between 8 and 10, specifically because Dark Knight did not get a slot here, as well it should have. Alrighty, so if I have to pick my top 5 of those, this is not in order. I will go with The Lives of Others, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Amadeus, The Best Years of Our Lives, and The Dark Knight. So those are my favorite movies. Leave yours below. And I'd love to see, honestly, if I haven't seen some of yours, I would love to watch them because I also like to take into account the opinion of you, the people.
Hey! You got a lot of guts coming here after what you pulled.